My name is Brenda Hutchinson, and I'm running as an independent for the West Virginia House of Delegates, 58th District. After graduating from James Rumsey Technical Institute, I actually took a job in Berkeley Springs as a property and casualty insurance agent. I worked there for approximately 9 years, and then I decided to go back to school. I actually went to Shepherd University, and while I was there, I started working as a part-time paralegal for one of the law firms in Martinsburg. After a couple of years of working part-time and going to school full-time, I had an offer for a full-time position as a paralegal at a law firm in Berkeley Springs, which I took, and I stayed there for approximately 6 years until I decided to run for county commissioner. When I became county commissioner, I was in that position for 6 years as county commissioner, and after that was over with, I decided it was time to go back to Shepherd University, and I actually did graduate from Shepherd University in 2013, summa cum laude, with a Regents Bachelor of Arts degree. As far as my involvement in the community, I have, as a commissioner, worked on numerous boards and committees and programs. Some of my favorites were the Senior Life Services Board. I also was on the Planning Commission, the Economic Development Authority. I was on the Morgan County Fair Board, the Health Department Board, and just many different boards and committees throughout the county. I still, as a private person, sit on the Senior Life Services Board as well as on the Humane Society Board. I'm on the Teen Court Board. I volunteer monthly at the Mealtime Soup Kitchen in Berkeley Springs, and I've been a past volunteer in the school system for approximately 9 years. Right now I'm mentoring a middle school student. I have also worked with the Morgan County Partnership in what they call their 40 Assets program, and my dog Ava and I actually go into the schools and teach the 5th graders about the humane treatment of companion animals, and we're a real big hit with the schools. I believe I'm the best candidate for this position because of the fact that as a commissioner, I had hands-on experience at the county level, and I dealt with many different, as I said, boards and committees. I've worked on numerous economic projects such as the rebuilding of our courthouse, our new hospital, different trail opportunities that we've had throughout the community. I am also committed to serving the needs of the people in Hampshire and Morgan counties, and I will be a voice for you when I get down to Charleston for your interests. If elected, one of my main goals would be to provide a new deal for the West Virginia workers. I believe that it's time for us to move away from jobs in fossil fuels and move toward jobs in conservation and in renewable energy. A second goal would be that I believe that we need to do work to improve the public health of our citizens. I think that there's a lot of work that can be done there because in most surveys, public health of our citizens is near or at the bottom throughout the nation. So we need to improve our education, improve our health care, and find better, cleaner jobs for our citizens. The third goal, I would like to propose that we have a moratorium on new permits for fracking as well as for mountaintop removal until we have done a thorough study of the effects on our environment, our economy, and the health and well-being of our citizens. As a delegate, I will continue the work that I did as a commissioner. I will continue to support economic development projects such as the new hospitals that we have in Morgan and Hampshire County and the expansion of Cacapen State Park. I believe that those projects will bring new jobs into our communities. I will also work on improving the infrastructure in our 2 counties. I believe that we need to expand internet and cell coverage throughout the district. I think that we need to repair our roads and bridges, and we also need to expand our public water and sewer systems throughout our districts. But by doing so, I think that we can create new jobs and make our area more attractive to new businesses. Individuals should not be asked at this time, especially with the economy the way it is, to have an increase in their taxes. I believe that the leadership in Charleston has moved away from putting the burden on the corporate interests and pushed it off onto the backs of our citizens. If I go to Charleston, I will definitely be working to make sure that out-of-state corporations are paying their fair share of the tax burden. Having said that, I also believe that we need to look at the expense side of the budget, and I believe that the governor made a start over the past year when he asked for all of the state agencies to take a 7.5% reduction in their annual budgets. However, I don't think that education should be subject to these cuts, because I believe that the education of our children is the most important thing that we can do to create an educated workforce for our future. As commissioner, making sure that we met our budget needs as well as providing essential services to the people in our county was the major part of my job, and I took it very seriously. I believe that we can and must make cuts within our budget. One of the things that we tried to pass, or the legislature tried to pass last year, was to close the loophole that allows for fracking waste to be carried across the Eastern Panhandle. The Eastern Panhandle is actually a karst area and very porous. If there were to be a leak of radioactive fracking waste within our area, it could be devastating to the drinking water for us. I believe that Senator Cookman has actually proposed an amendment earlier to close that loophole, but it was not, the legislature did not vote for it. So I think that now we have another committee who's working, the Rules Committee is actually working on bringing that forward again, but we do have to have a vote of the full Senate and the full House of Delegates. I would be one person in that House of Delegates who would definitely vote to close that loophole. Well, I think that the legislature missed a huge opportunity when they decided not to pass the making Sudafed, certain forms of Sudafed, a prescription drug within the state. The state of Oregon actually passed a similar law about 7 years ago, and during those 7 years, they've been able to reduce meth labs by 90%. Now, having said that, that's only one small part of what we need to fight the drug problem. We also need early education programs within our school system, and we need to make a firm commitment to providing drug treatment facilities throughout the state. Well, I actually became acquainted with the School for the Deaf and Blind when there was a little girl in our community who actually attended this school. First and foremost, I believe that we need to save the school because of the children and family whose lives are impacted and touched by this school. But I'm also aware of the fact that the school is the second largest employer in Hampshire County, and therefore it would be a major economic impact if the school were to close. I believe that it's a state school, and therefore it should have a state budget item to take care of these renovations. I would be willing to work with all like-minded legislators to work on making sure that we get the funding to do the $60 million worth of renovations that are needed. Regardless of whatever problems that we see, whether it's drugs or jobs or fracking, mountaintop removal, all of these things have one underlying reason for being, and that is the lack of leadership by our political leaders. We need to make sure that we do something about the dumping of campaign funds by out-of-state corporations into local political races. As an independent, I have chosen not to take any funding from any of these out-of-state corporations, and therefore I can be an independent voice for the people of Hampshire and Morgan County when it comes to the devastation of our environment and the destruction of people's lives. I pledge to be an independent voice for the people of Hampshire County.